Action.
What's up, hockey fans? Welcome to another episode of Pod Snipe Celly. My name is Dan Bradley. Alongside me tonight, Joel Fernino. Joel, how you doing, buddy?
Doing well, Dan. Doing well. I'm feeling light on my feet today.
Go on.
I am currently on a 3-day fast.
Oh, yeah, that would certainly do it.
A little fun challenge between me and our buddy Vince.
Already got Mateo checking in. What's up, Mateo?
Mateo?
Thanks for tuning in tonight.
How's it going? I'm excited to argue with you about Bedard and Faber.
We did a full show on that pretty much
we
just
did.
a couple weeks ago. So
Yes, we did.
We got our favorite Cyclones fan checking in here as well.
Woo!
Off to a roaring start tonight, and we're so glad that y'all are here because, Joel, we hit a milestone last week, and we did not really call any attention to it because I don't think either of us realized that last week was our 100th episode of Pod Snipe Celly.
Woo!
So I wish I had an applause sounder, stick taps, a goal horn going off.
I'll cheers to that with some water. We'll cheers with water because we're responsible adults.
Yeah, something like that, allegedly. Mateo's saying, I won't if you're fasting. No need to make you angry, hungry, and wrong. Congrats on 100 episodes. Thanks, Mateo. And of course, it's always the same.
Oh yeah.
Always.
Absolutely. I know. It's kind of crazy.
That's how we roll around here.
Dan texts me this, and I'm just like, we did what now?
Yeah, I was going through and I was like, wait a minute. Math, numbers together tonight show 25, 38. Holy crap, that's 101.
Holy
we hit 100
crap,
last week.
We hit 100. Oh, my God.
Mateo with the shout out to HP. Yeah, HP, where are you at tonight? HP should be joining us here in the comment section shortly. Mark with the congratulations as well. Thank you, Mark. Looking forward to the replay of your live show. I'm going to miss the live on Thursday this week, but I sent you a question on Facebook as well. So hopefully something there for you to talk about, and I look forward to hearing that on replay because I'm going to be in Nationals and broadcasting. I think it's 4 games a day, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So not only am I not going to be able to listen, but I'm not going to have a voice by the end of things.
During March Madness?
Yeah.
Man, that's fair.
Appreciate you too, Mark, always. Yeah, I didn't get to
woo.
Thank you. I didn't get to decide when USPHL planned their schedule.
Well, why not?
If they don't consult me on things,
why not?
They should. I'm not saying that. During the lesser March tourney, because as we all know, the real NCAA tournament this time of year is the lead up to the Frozen Four, which we'll be keeping an eye on very closely here. Congratulations from my mother as well. Thanks, Mom. Cyclones fan. Let me get that one here. Getting to go to my first Cyclones game tomorrow since I'm home visiting family. That's awesome. Cheer loud, cheer extra loud for us. I can't quite bring this on the plane. Maybe I could. We'll see. It'd have to be empty when I bring it on the plane. So what's the point in that?
I mean, you could just bring it to bring it.
That's what I'm saying. Like I can't fill it with something. So,
I mean,
that's what it is.
No, that's fair. It is what it is.
I would rather not risk TSA losing it.
Who are you flying?
I think it's American. Yeah.
Southwest for the win.
I couldn't get a Southwest flight. Not at that time anyway. I'm flying into Syracuse, New York. So absolutely.
We love you, man.
Always.
I love Mateo shouting out Tab, who's he's a Chicago journalist. He's a great guy. He's just satirical, and We got a lot of butthurt Wild fans over his satire. Mateo is not one of those butthurt fans.
Tab, whatever. He's wrong, whatever his name is.
No, he's right, but
Joel, let's get into some hockey talk here. We want to get into the NHL rule changes because there were quite a few that came down the pipeline today. I want to start with one that I think.
Well, give context here. So for the GM meetings were today, and
they're ongoing. I think for the next couple of days.
That's what I thought. Yeah,
it's like through the end of the work week, so through Friday. But the one I wanted to start out with is the one that is going to take an immediate impact, and that is players are now prohibited from sitting on the bench. And knowing that we have a couple of sitting on the boards instead of on the bench. So players who are getting ready to come onto the ice for a line change, hop off for a teammate, they can no longer sit on the edge of the boards while getting ready to hop over. It's got to be quick on, quick off.
Yeah.
Because that is taking effect immediately. Some of these other changes are going to be kind of more gradually phased in. But this one is immediate, and it happens as the result of a linesman getting cut during a game while skating by a player on the bench, didn't see the player, and ended up catching a skate blade and getting cut. Joel, I want to start with that one. What was your reaction seeing that was one that came in today?
That one, to me, kind of rolls up into that joke that I texted you earlier where, like, while, yes, I think it's probably smart. I mean, we saw a linesman get hurt. If somebody's getting seriously injured, I think, you have to really consider implementing a rule that quickly. So I get it. I can understand it. It makes sense at face value, but just to play devil's advocate, it makes me nervous because it's yet another rule that sounds like there's going to be a hell of a lot of room for interpretation.
There is some serious gray area. It sounds like the good news.
HP has chimed in.
Okay, there we go.
Sup, pheasants. Also, real quick, just so Mateo doesn't
hang on.
Ignored him.
That did not say pheasants.
I know. I'm saying sup pheasants to him.
Okay.
I said sup pigeons.
Mateo, whatever foul language you want to use with each other is beyond my control.
Yes. No, Mateo. Yes, I will be absolutely bringing up your idea because I 100% agreed with your idea. So we'll get to that. Don't you worry.
To me, one of the key things to consider here is that they are going to impose a warning. So before it's an immediate penalty, and it'll be a 2-minute penalty. But before that, they'll give you a warning and they'll say, "Hey, here's the rule. Here's what you were doing." It sounds to me like maybe they will be okay if their skates are not over the ice, but they're sitting on the bench so that they can quick flip over that way. But even there,
that's what makes me nervous because that, again, it flows into like, all right, your skates cannot be hovering above the ice while you're kind of like on the railing of the bench, right? But like, I do like that there's a warning involved, so maybe they understand that some rules are, what did I say to you earlier? Like, there aren't many black and white rules, especially now in the modern day game. Like,
it goes so fast, you almost have to.
And something like this that's going to be left up to interpretation by the refs, like it's gonna get messy at times. I don't want to say more often than it won't be messy because like it's a pretty straightforward, like just don't do it. Like if you don't want to be in this scenario where you're, this gray area is going to have to get argued and discussed and maybe fines get thrown out, like whatever happens, just don't do it. Just open the door, walk or skate in after the door is open. I feel like it's way more common now, at least in the last 5 to 7 years, where you don't see it as much of just straight up hopping.
Especially when you've got the door on either end of the bench, you can have your players, coming on one and off on the other. I get that traditionally, you'll have all of the forwards sit on one side of the bench, all of the defensemen on the other, and that's where a clog up comes into play.
Yeah.
I still think there's a way to make it work.
Totally. I mean, it's like we're having the GMs meet for a reason. Like, put those minds together, think of something smart. Like it. I like this, but again, like I think the joke for me is just like, all right, yep, we're calling a 2-minute minor on you for having your legs over the ice. Wait, what? What do you mean? Well, you see, when you were hopping over the bench, one of your skates was over the ice while the other was over the bench. And also, Aquarius is in retrograde and it's snowing outside. Therefore, it's a 2-minute minor. I mean, what I just described is half the damn rules that they have to try and figure out in the NHL. Like, each ref is going to call it differently and it's going to get confusing. It is.
I think that's true only if, like, it is not clearly defined, like, hey, you cannot sit on the bench for more than X seconds. And it's something where, like, you can very clearly tell, like, hey, if you're sitting on that bench for, like, 5 seconds, or sitting on the – I keep saying bench. If you're on the bench and you're, like, on the railing, on the edge of the boards, getting ready to get on the ice, and you sit there for, like, 5 seconds, yeah, that's a problem that should be called.
I'm just picturing just like, oh, la, 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 la. Oh, go no! 2-minute minor.
Right, because as Cyclones fan brings up here, it's a safety concern.
That's kind of where, like, I understand. Like, despite the confusion, when it becomes a safety concern, I don't give a shit about the confusion at that point.
And Mateo with a great point here as well. The NHL does not make life easy for its officials. No.
Mateo's right. Like,
it really doesn't.
You know me. I am the first one to bash on officials, referees, everything, all that.
The second. HP's first.
Yeah, you're right. But, like, you're very, very true. But, like, I know when to play devil's advocate when, like, you gotta level with them a little bit in certain in some of the major sports where just so many of these rule changes are making things so gray and it's no longer cut and dry on a hell of a lot of rules. It's tough. I sit here and say I could have made that call. I don't. We're sports dopes. We couldn't make that call. Like, we don't know. But, like.
And the other part of the problem is, as you get some of these calls that are so up for interpretation, the way not just the NHL, but sports leagues as a whole are walking hand in hand with sports betting at this point.
Oh, yeah.
There are so many things that, like, we are moving towards this has to be defined.
Yep.
Because if not, you're going to run into problems with the sports books. And when there's that kind of money on the line, you know, we saw that the NBA had their officiating, their referee match fixing scandal with Tim Donaghy in the early 2000s.
Right.
And one of the referees that he was calling while communicating with the bookie is still working in the NBA. He is still officiating these games even after getting those calls from Tim Donaghy, who would call the bookie and immediately call the referee right after that. Why is that referee still allowed to be working in the NBA? For that reason, I'm never going to bet on basketball. And I'm not someone who watches basketball much anyway, but how can you put confidence in a league that's going to do that? And with hockey, like, yes, they haven't had the scandal yet, but that's not to say that they can't with some of these interpretations.
Right. And Mark brings up a good point too. Like, maybe would the stay off the boards limit all the too many men on the ice penalties? Perhaps.
It could, which is a double-edged sword, because on the one hand, the league wants the scoring. The league wants to get power play units on the ice. On the other, having something like that be what slows the game down, and then you have a coach arguing about it for, you know, however long, because the player and the coach are mad about the call. It cuts both ways.
Right. And also, I almost wonder if it would swing both ways there. Like, yeah, could it limit the too many men on the ice? But then could you start getting more of them when, like, maybe if there is, you mentioned it earlier, if there is kind of a bit of a clog or a jam at the actual door, and your guy on the ice is about to touch the puck, but you're still on the ice and you're the sixth man, like, what are you going to do? You can't hop over anymore.
Yeah, and I mean that's always been something that's come into play. If a player is coming onto the ice before the player has gone off and touches the puck, it's supposed to be a penalty. Now, we've seen a couple times this year where that hasn't been called. I saw one was in a Wild game, and one was, I want to say it was the Kings and the Ducks. I want to say I happened to catch it. It was the late game that night. But I've seen it twice this year where there was a player in the change and then one bench is screaming because they have the player jumping on the ice who touched the puck. Sports dopes. That could be a second name for this show.
That's what I said we are. I mean, so because we can't be refs. We're just sports dopes.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I'm with Mateo. Like, just don't sit on the fucking dash or the boards.
Yeah.
It kind of brings me to that was kind of my point earlier. Like, we're talking about the gray area of this rule, but just don't do it. Like, coach it right away. Just guys, don't do it. Mm-hmm. It's as simple as that. I get it. Maybe muscle memory will take over a couple times. That's fine. Get out of the habit, and we won't have to deal with it. Like, that's it.
When I was with the Mullets, we had a set play that we never really got to use it. We used it once while I was with the team, and it was you have a defensive zone face-off, and you are on the same side as your bench. Isha jumping in with the smash that like button. Yeah, we've got a ton of people watching right now.
But
only
the
one like so far. Hit the like button for us.
The math isn't mathing.
Help us out here.
Again, I guess I have to preface that most of those are on Twitter, but 6 of them are on
over
YouTube.
To YouTube.
Yeah. Nobody uses Facebook anymore, but we got 2 people watching on Facebook, so I guess I can't say that.
There is that.
But
Sam is calling you out. Where's the hat, Joel?
I got here just in time. Do you want me to get up and put a damn hat on?
Sam, I was about to call him because it was 7:59 and 58 seconds when he clicked on.
I'll leave a live stream right now for 10 seconds to go get a hat. I'll do it.
Go for it. Because we'll talk for 2 seconds here. Mateo as well, giving us the happy 100 episodes.
That's Isha, not Mateo.
Or Isha, sorry. I'm throwing the wrong names out there.
I'm the one that
2 weeks ago they were watching our show
hours.
together. 2 weeks ago they were out having beers and watching our show together. So
who's the one that's only eaten nothing in less than 24 hours?
Dude, my brain is gone.
I don't
between work and getting ready for nationals, I have no brain power tonight.
I get it. I love all the comments. God, I love this.
Isha's saying Rempe for Calder. Joel, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm game. I like it.
More fights than Bedard, better plus minus than Bedard. He's qualified.
I mean, here's the thing. In my opinion, it's Bedard, Rempe, 30 miles of dirt, and then Brock Faber. But
yeah, you can log off. You know what? We'll do this. Go get your hat. Go get your hat, and we're gonna kick him out of here.
Put me up instead.
Okay. You know what? That's
fine.
where we're at right now.
I'm going to get the damn hat. Go
get your hat. Mateo's saying, I wish I could explain the mind of an official. As someone who has reffed up to college level games, the best way to put it is the refs get put in terrible situations and left out to public ridicule. Yeah, they really do. And there are some times where, I think back to the 2016 or 17 Stanley Cup final, Penguins and Predators, where the referee fails to pick up the puck and blows the whistle dead as the puck is trickling loose behind the Penguins goalie and into the net. Nashville scores. Goal is waved off. Massive public ridicule for that referee who, following the play, did exactly what he was supposed to do. You lose sight of the puck, you blow the whistle. No win situation there. At the same time, I think some of these calls, we don't get enough of an explanation of what the call is. And I get sometimes goaltender interference. It's sometimes all we get is after video review, it was determined there was goaltender interference. We have no goal with no explanation for, okay, what was the interference? Did he push the goalie out of the crease? Did he, while he was out of the crease, did he impede the goalie in some way? So some of these calls, there is, some tough situation to it, but you've got to move beyond that and be able to explain to your fans so that the fans can know, okay, I hate the call, but at least I can feel like it was the right call based on the explanation. Yeah. So those things are important too.
Your dad's throwing have you looked at Faber's plus minus compared to your favorite? My favorite, Tyler Johnson. No, I have.
Kaner's not on the Blackhawks anymore.
Kaner's not on the Blackhawks, but you know what? It's okay. He had a bad plus-minus too, and he won 3 cups. But yes, I have. I would hope Faber's plus-minus is better. He's a defenseman.
This is exactly where I'm at right now. Head empty.
No thoughts.
No thoughts.
Also, I need a follow-up comment from Sam. I put the head on. I literally left a live stream just for you, Sam.
Joel's just coming.
Hoping. I'm gonna buy that We Have Bedard, You Don't shirt, and I'm gonna wear it on every stream. I'll do it. I'm refraining from doing it. I'll do it.
Pod Snipe Celly is taking applications for a new podcast host. There has recently developed a vacancy. Hey, so if you're interested.
Dan, we're talking about milestones. We hit our 100th episode. We have now broken our record for most live views.
Awesome.
We are even better. 74 current viewers. Smash those likes on literally every platform that you're on.
Yeah, help us out. Like, retweet, share.
We got 69 people watching on Twitter. Nice. I had to. I'm sorry. But a bio, We Have Faber t-shirt with my name on it. I'm actually okay with that. You can rep me on.
Quote him.
You can absolutely rep me on a t-shirt. I'm okay with that. Do you want a picture of me?
One of the other rule changes that they have discussed, and I am very intrigued by this one, the puck over the glass. They are going to allow a coach's challenge to review whether or not the puck was deflected before going over the glass. The important thing here is, unlike some of these other reviews where you can challenge and it becomes, it's a 5-on-4 after that. If the coach of the offending team challenges and the call stands, it is now a 5-on-3 power play for 2 minutes.
Oh my God.
Additionally, the challenge only goes one way. So you can't challenge for, you think the puck went out of play. You can't challenge for that.
Yeah.
But you can challenge, no, the puck was touched on the way out of play. This also applies to inadvertent, the friendly fire high sticks, where a player's stick comes up, catches his teammate draws blood, opponent gets called for the penalty.
Yeah.
Joel, I like this one a little better just in the, yes, I like the safety aspect of the first rule we discussed.
Yeah.
I really like the potential for this rule change.
No, I agree. And I guess maybe I'm naive to it. I don't think they've really gotten this wrong that much in the past, but obviously when they have gotten it wrong, it's pretty egregious. Like, dude, it's the 21st century. We're in the 2020s. Like, we have the technology. Just review it really quick. If it bounced off the glass, you should be able to tell. You should be able to see. I'm with you. I like this. I'm cool with it. I like it. I think it's like my point is, like, it's a safety net that, like, even though there's really not much that flows through, in this case, it's now going to pretty much guarantee that nothing gets through, or almost nothing, I guess, net zero.
Beyond that, I think the most important thing with these types of reviews is, more than anything else, you want to make sure that the call is right. And even if that means, the ref called it wrong on the ice, we have the chance to get the call right after that.
Yeah.
And I think this gives them the leeway to do that now. So,
no, totally. But we'll talk about one other thing that was discussed. But among the other rule changes, I did pull up. Elliot Friedman had he had a thread of, like, a lot of the kind of proposed changes. We obviously reviewed 2 of the, I would argue, more significant ones. Just a quick rattle off a couple other ones that stood out. I'm not going to go through every single one, but and actually Mark called this out earlier.
I'll put a comment from Mark up on the screen here too for 2 seconds, not to derail you, but to get your hopes up.
I'll take it. I still don't know if we're going to get first overall again, but if we do, let's go.
I'll riot.
I know you will. And your anguish will be my, my peace, my serenity. Mark had something up here. Love the third goaltender discussions, creates 32 extra jobs and another element. pressure for other crease members to be better. I agree, and that's the one rule. Adding a goalie to the list of players. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, that's a different one, but still, yeah, like adding a third goalie, like that's.
I'm gonna need you to explain this one because I did not actually see where this one came in.
So
being off Twitter, I missed some of the discourse on the rule changes.
So I'd have to find it. I wanted to cover Mark's thing. I'd have to find it. It's not in this thread.
Okay.
It's that one's not I don't think that one's like official. I think it's like a proposed.
Mm-hmm.
What else is there though? We talked about the puck over the glass.
We can talk about one that they decided not to change, which was lengthening 3-on-3 overtime.
Good segue. Good segue.
Either to extend or even potentially eliminate the shootout. So, Joel, with that in mind, I want to ask you, does the NHL still need the shootout?
Dan.
And for starters, how did our poll turn out? We ran a poll on Twitter today.
That's exactly.
Votes are closed. It's
votes
too
are
late
closed.
now.
I am pulling it up as we speak. And last I checked, it was pretty lopsided, a little more than I thought it would be, to be honest with you. But votes are closed. We had 47 votes. Thank you.
That's a great amount of votes.
Do you want to? So there were three options. It was get rid of it, keep it, or I don't care either way. Do you want to take a guess as we approach 100 live viewers right now? I'm sorry, I got to call that out.
Keep that number going.
Whoever's watching, we love you. Come back though. Don't just watch once. I promise. We're fun all the time. I usually swear a lot more.
By the percentages.
Yeah, just you know what? Don't even worry about.
I won't. Okay, I won't guess.
Don't worry about the don't care.
I'll
the
just
don't
say
care is too small. Just give me your split between get rid of it and keep it.
I'll say people were more in favor of getting rid of it.
Like, you want to do just give me a percent ratio. Just take a stab in the dark.
We'll say 5% don't care. We'll say 60 and 35.
You are pretty damn close on all three of those, actually. So, of our 47 votes in the roughly 6 hours it was up. And hold on, pause. We have just broken 100 live views. That's
officially
wait.
Our most
hold on. It's our 101st episode, and we are currently at 101 live viewers right now.
This is amazing.
This is amazing. God, I love this. All right, sorry.
Here we go. We got.
We got a lot of good. Hi, Mom.
Both our mothers are watching.
Yes, both our mothers
fantastic.
Are watching for the milestones. We got a lot of comments to get through at some point. So.
Yeah, I've been trying to keep up, and some of it is just our
love you, Mom.
So we love that.
And we'll celebrate my mom real quick. She is on, I think it's 3.5 months of no smoking. Quit smoking. 3.5 months straight. Keep going. I'm proud. Keep that up. All right. Anyway, back to business.
What were our percentages here?
So get rid of it. Had a resounding win at 62% of the votes. 34% keep it, and then 4% were don't care either way.
Run those numbers by me one more time.
62% were get rid of it.
Okay, I said 65. I'll take.
So you were close. Keep it was 34%. You said 32 or something like that. However that math works out. And then you said
30, don't. So 65, 30, and 5.
And then you said don't care was 5%. It was 4%. So it's a pretty resounding. Most people want to get rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I have thoughts.
Oh, I know you do, because this is something that we've discussed.
We
both
have
on the show and offline.
Here's the point to make. We've discussed this on the show, but not to these new 100 people.
Mm-hmm.
So Isha is right there with me. 62% of those fans suck.
Isha, I love you, buddy, but I respectfully and wholeheartedly disagree.
Isha and oh hell yeah, we're getting some congrats from Boston on the no smoking. Let's go. So here's where I'm thinking, and Isha and I kind of briefly talked about this in the comments on Twitter on the poll, and I'll get to Mateo's point too, because Mateo is kind of in the middle. I think he's probably in favor of get rid of it, but anyway, Isha and I are firmly in the camp of just keep it. Now, I would probably argue maybe I lean a little more towards like I don't really care, like 3-on-3. is never going to get old. It's incredible. 2.5 months. I gave you an extra half a month, whatever. Either way, I'm proud of you.
Keep it up and we'll still celebrate when you get to 3.
Exactly. I and the other 106 viewers are proud of you, Mom. So Isha had a very good point. And where'd it go? Hold on, I'll find it.
Well, he's looking for it. I'll just say, I think a shootout is a terrible way to end a hockey game because you take what has always been at its core a team game.
Yep.
And you eliminate all team aspect of it and make it a one-on-one. To me, it's not hockey. And especially when you can come in as slow as you want. I loved Elliot Friedman's description of being able to time the penalty shot with a sundial because you're going that slowly. It's the worst. It's such a terrible way to end a hockey game. It should end a continuous 3-on-3 overtime until someone scores. Because when you're at the point where like, okay, we'll just get to the shootout because we don't want to take the chances and lose. Right now, by having that, games aren't ending 3-on-3. They're just holding for the final 30 seconds to go to the shootout. So why not try and make it more emphatic towards defining it in a true traditional hockey manner than just 5 minutes of 3-on-3 and go to the shootout?
And this is where Isha and I agree. I found his comment. So he said those who want it removed hate fun and also probably hate fighting in hockey too, which is another thing we can talk about. But that's for
entirely different conversation.
We will talk about
exactly where Isha stands on fighting in hockey.
And so I'm with him on it. I don't want them to get rid of that either. I'm okay with it, getting minimized a little bit, and it has, but definitely don't get rid of it. But anyway, we'll talk about that in a different time. My thing is, Isha's saying he's taking the words right out. If you can't get it done 3-on-3, you don't deserve to be allowed to play anymore.
But I think part of the reason that teams are willing to not get it done on 3-on-3 is because they know that.
And it gives the goalies kind of a time to shine. They're usually the unsung heroes half of the games and half the time. And even when they go off and get a shutout, sometimes they're not even recognized as much. It's a cool little thing. Like, it showcases the shooters. It showcases the goaltenders too, when they stand on their heads and they basically say, like, you're not going to score on me 1-on-1. You couldn't score on me 5-on-5. Let's go. You're not going to, or you couldn't score on me 3-on-3. Now let's go. You're not going to score on me 1-on-1. And the other parts of it, to me, the fun part too, that's the thing too. Keep it during the regular season. It's fun. It's fun to watch. It's still hockey. Like, what are penalty kicks? Are penalty kicks not soccer or football?
No, I think that's a bad way to end a game. That's another conversation.
Look, and that is another conversation.
And also, it's amazing to me that as big as those nets are, that you still have so many guys who can't hit the net while taking penalty kicks. They're that close.
That's a good point. But it bugs me. Like, again, I toe the line between I don't really care, but also keep it. Because, like, yes, 3-on-3 is the most incredible decision that hockey has made in the last few years. It's so incredible. It does not get old. I wish for it every game that I am at. I wish for every game anyone is at to go watch 3-on-3 because it is fun. It's fun even with a shit team and a shit roster. Trust me, I know.
We have a counterpoint here. Ooh. Get rid of 3-on-3.
Mrs. Bradley, what? You just hit my heart on that.
Ooh.
No. Absolutely not.
Okay, but seeing how much it hurts you to talk about getting rid of the 3-on-3, you still like the shootout more?
No, I'm not saying
you did not have that kind of a reaction to getting rid of the shootout. You have that kind of a reaction to getting rid of 3-on-3. That tells me something about how you feel about it.
I'm getting to the point of, no, I don't like it more than shootout can go by. Wow. Joey and I usually don't disagree. Joey and I, by the way, hi, Joey. We are, thank you for tuning in during your I still love you too. we can friendly and respectfully disagree. It's just Dan and I that disrespectfully disagree on things. Joel just said the roster is shit. But okay. God, I'm not going to get through this point because now I'm just getting, God damn it. The team with the best vibes should win. You know what?
Vibes-based hockey.
And quite frankly, where do you get the most vibes? When you get the flashy, cool stuff in the shootout. Boom. Michelle loves the shootout. HP, you'll agree with anything Dan says. Get out of here.
That's not true.
That's true. Here's the thing. I don't like it more than 3-on-3. The fun part, that can go without saying. We talked about that. It's fun to watch when you get players like a Bedard, or let's go back in the day a little bit to the 2010s when you had a Datsuk or a Patrick Kane. Little further than that, when Kucherov first broke into the league and pulled off his Kucherov move. You have this cool stuff. Or you have stuff where these goalies stand on their head for 9 rounds of a shootout. And I get it. That doesn't happen often, but that leads me into, you can't, to me, do it, continue it's entertainment too. What is the sport at the end? Exactly. He's just right. It's entertainment. You're telling me little Timmy going to games with his dad or mom don't want to shoot out? Right.
Little Timmy doesn't know any better.
Yeah. Little Timmy's not over here talking about hockey theory. He just wants to see Connor Bedard, or he wants to see, let's talk wild. He wants to see Kirill Kaprizov undress a goalie one-on-one in a shootout. That's what he wants to see.
This is at least the point that we can agree on. In playoffs, they have no business in any sport, regular season. And I can at least understand, to a degree, regular season, like you need to have a relatively quick end of the game.
The other part
that goes out the window.
Oh, and
the IIHF and the Olympics have used shootouts to determine champions and determine medal winners. That has never sat right with me.
That's where we agree. It should be, if a playoff scenario is involved, penalty kicks, shootouts, it should never, ever be a thing. How did Bedard do against Fleury in the shootout? It was a preseason. Are you really throwing preseason games at me? HP, you're better than
anything to rile you up and get you going.
that was funny. And plus, it's Fleury. I love Fleury. Mm-hmm. Anyway, you can't do a continuous 3-on-3 in the regular season of hockey. Hockey is the most physically taxing sport just behind football. You cannot have these guys potentially, I'm not saying, obviously with 3-on-3, the chances to score are a lot higher. You're probably not going to get double, triple overtimes in 3-on-3. But what if you do?
We're waiting on 2 here because we've got Mateo saying he thinks he found a way to solve both problems. Joey's saying he has a hot take to get people all up in arms. We're getting spicy on the show tonight.
We are, and we're at 121 and counting. God, I love this. This might be my favorite episode so far. 101. Do you imagine 101 was going to be the best and not 100? It's usually how it works, though.
Mark asking if we can touch on his. Mark, I'm going to have to go back and find it.
Oh, yes. So
okay, found it here.
4v4
to start. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Good.
4v4 to start a 10-minute overtime. First whistle midway through the extra frame. Switch to 3-on-3. Shootout after, but won't be so many. I could deal with that. I think that would be fun.
I don't disagree. That's kind of fun.
Because you're gradually opening up the ice as well, which is the point. You want to have more open ice so you can have that kind of end-to-end action. And
I found Mateo's. Dan, go up to the top and find his actual comment. Oh, I put his comment up when he teased his theory. So I found his comment on Twitter. So Mateo says to keep the shootout, my man, but disincentivize going into it, right? Like you lose the loser's point if you lose the shootout. So, or if the NHL ever went to a 3-2-1-0 system,
3-2-1-0 points. I've been calling that for years. We need that so bad.
I would agree. I like it. 3 points for a regulation win, 0 for a regulation loss. Fair. We're already used to that. It's 2-0 now. 2 for the OT win, 1 for the OT loss. I like that. And then 1 for the shootout win, nothing if you lose in the shootout. I love that. And that's kind of why I've been trying to lead up to his point. I love that idea.
Because that does incentivize ending the game in overtime versus the shootout. Which also, do you see something like what John Hines did where you pull the goalie at risk of losing your overtime point there?
The biggest balls move I've ever seen in hockey. That was insane. I would definitely.
And then we have the most Isha solution of all: center ice fight to decide the winner.
Oh, I'll do you one better, Isha. Between the goalies. If
you ice the puck and have the goalie pulled, you do not get to put him back in the net. That's a line change. Yep.
Joey texted me that last night, and I couldn't agree with him more. I love that. Give me chaos.
Another reason
PWHL. They test out everything.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see how their
between the goalies,
how their golden points rule is going to come into play as far as determining draft order by points after elimination. I'm very interested to see how that goes.
My thing is, I love Mateo's concept there. And I mean, again, the 3-2-1-0 system is a concept a lot of people have been fighting for, you included. I guess I wonder what the hell are they even doing if they have they discussed it? Right? Like
I think it's something they've gradually discussed, but I think they're kind of waiting to see how it goes with the PWHL.
Are they? I don't follow.
That's something they have. They already have that rule in the golden points.
Is that recent?
Yeah. Well, because this is their first year. Period.
So it's coming.
So this is coming up. We'll experience that in the next draft. So they'll wait to see how that goes once the season ends and go from there. And I think especially as PWHL expansion becomes a thing, they're at 6 teams right now. They're going to get to 8 within the next couple of years. Just seeing the success in year 1, they're going to add teams. Be ready. I would be stunned if Chicago isn't one of the next cities to get a PWHL team. Like I would be stunned if when they go from 6 to 8, Chicago isn't one of the 2.
I mean, the sport has grown here. Thank you, Blackhawks. But also, I mean, the Chicago Steel are a really good program. What league is that again? That's the
USHL.
USHL. Obviously, we have 2 AHL teams, one in Rockford, one in Chicago. Like hey, I'm cool with it.
Yeah, and Chicago appreciates women's sports and has been a great city for women's sports. So
Chicago Sky are the most recent Chicago team to win a major championship. So
yeah, Chicago has the venues, they have the TV market. It makes a lot of sense. I that's why I say I would be stunned if they are not one of the next ones to get. But we need to move on here because we got a tough out for the show tonight. So I'm going to start something here. For now, we're just calling it 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh
5.
wait, what? I came up with a name.
A new segment. I couldn't remember and you weren't here, so I didn't get to type it in time.
It's called No Look Pass.
No Look Pass. Okay.
A new segment for our 127 live viewers. And I think about 120 of you are brand new.
So the way this segment is going to work is I have a topic in mind, and I'm going to give Joel 5 items to rank. I'm going to tell him he does not know what this category is. He does not know the things he's ranking. I'm going to tell them one at a time, and he is going to have to blindly rank these things 1 through 5. So, Joel, for your 1 through 5 tonight, are you ready?
By the way, for anyone who's still listening to that and grasping it, for any of our, I'm about to be 30 in a month and a half, so I have to say, for any of our Gen Zers or younger that are watching and or listening, this is the TikTok filter where a song plays, you don't know what it is, but you have to rank it and you don't know what's next. Yeah, that's what this is.
So Joel, your theme tonight for No Look Pass, cities that most deserve an expansion franchise.
Wow.
This is coming up because there has been a lot of steam about Atlanta as the next city to get an NHL franchise. And it sounds like the arena, construction is darn close. An ownership group is starting to come together. It sounds like they're getting in the way of getting
Isha.
Thanks, Isha. Appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate all the love in the chat tonight.
Love for the PWHL. Everybody should love the PWHL.
We gotta love PWHL. So much fun.
Absolutely.
Cities that most deserve an expansion franchise.
Michelle, 3rd time is the charm, Atlanta.
You know what? I hope so. I hope it works in Atlanta. I think Atlanta really could be a good hockey market.
I agree.
Groups the first 2 times around were terrible.
And they had decent teams.
Yeah, they had solid programs. They put some solid players into the NHL.
They took 2 of our 2010 Cup heroes, and Andrew Ladd and Dustin Bufflin, from us.
Also, I believe wasn't Marion Hossa there for a little bit before going
He
to
was.
Detroit and Pittsburgh,
Yes. Yeah.
and then eventually Chicago?
Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
yeah.
All right. I'm excited. I like this theme. Also,
Okay.
130.
So, spoiler alert, Atlanta is not one of these 5.
Well,
and the reason for that is because
sorry.
I am pretty much assuming that they're going to be number 33. To get to an even number, 34, I went with 5 other ones, and we're going to start with Houston.
Ooh.
Top 10 TV market in the U.S. They do have another team in the state with the Dallas Stars.
Yes.
Norm Green still sucks. Where does Houston rank on your blind ranking of cities that most deserve an expansion franchise?
The unwritten rule about this game is usually you can't just decide one right away. So I won't do that. And Houston probably arguably has the most steam beneath Atlanta, I would argue.
They're certainly up there.
I would probably I think it'd be kind of fun. That'd be good for the game. Get it more down the give me 3. Like I know it's boring, but give me 3.
Okay.
I while you're typing, I know you'll have to type it live. I'll explain why. You mentioned it, like top 10 TV market. They have the Stars in Dallas. It's always fun to have kind of those interstate rivalries that would help grow that team's exposure pretty quickly. I'd say if you have an interstate rivalry, that's awesome. Trust me, Cubs Sox is that's fun as hell. I think the market really for me, like I put it at 3 just because it's boring, I know, but like if Atlanta were here, it would probably be 1. But like let's put it at 3. Let's put it at 3.
Okay, your next one, Quebec City.
Oh my God, bringing back the Nordiques
potentially, or going in an entirely new direction.
You know what? Hot take. 5.
5. Okay.
I don't care. I really don't care about. Sorry to anyone who's Canadian. I love Canada, but like you got.
Don't worry. When Isha goes back and watches this, he will be glad that you put Quebec City at number 5.
See, well, yeah, he's a Canucks fan.
The the third city, I should say, on this list, because you used the number 3 spot. Number 3 city on this list, Salt Lake City.
Ooh,
this is another one that's got a decent amount of steam lately.
It does. The Quebecois deserve nothing. Oh my God. Oh,
Mark with a question here. I wanted to ask this for weeks now, but do you guys do only these live streams for just the hockey season, or are these shenanigans a weekly thing? They're weekly. We'll go during the hockey off season as well.
Yes, we will. We have
sometimes we go a little more off topic there too.
That's the thing. The off season is where things get really fun. We typically keep it hockey related, but we'll dabble in some non-hockey related stuff in the off season because it's the off season. So yes.
Salt Lake City, where are you putting them on? You've used 3 and 5.
Michelle is the exact reason why I actually probably should have switched these, but why start a franchise somewhere you can't sell alcohol? Put them at 4.
That's a valid point to consider. While I'm typing in number 4, your next city, Kansas City.
Oh, wow. Another interstate rivalry there then with the Blues.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. Actually, what do I have left? I can't.
You have number 1 or number 2?
I don't know what the hell your 5th city would be, and I'm trying to I need to join you guys during the offseason. It is epic. Good.
Mark, you've got an open invitation. We'll make it happen.
Shameless plug. You can check us out on demand. Any of these 101 episodes on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts, and also just on the YouTube channel too. You can go back and watch the videos if you want to see our video shenanigans too, and you can see my many different camera angles.
Yeah, Mark will absolutely get you on this offseason. We'll figure that out.
This might end up being a hot take, and I'll explain why, but screw it. Put it at number one.
Number one.
Wow. I want a hockey team in Kansas City. Why? As much as I hate the Blues, that team is beloved. They do bleed blue down there, just like they bleed red for the Cardinals. But the as much as I can't stand St. Louis sports, they are one of they're arguably Chicago's biggest rivals in hockey and baseball. That's all they have, but hockey and baseball. I don't think the Rams, when they had football, were really that crazy of a rivalry with the Bears. But what I will say about them, they're passionate. They're passionate, and they get that exposure. They do good things for whatever sport it is. So like I agree. And here's the other thing, really quick, on Kansas City. Mm-hmm. The Chiefs are the most mainstream team ever, not just because of the Super Bowls, but now they got the whole Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce thing. And not to like whenever a sport that is bigger than your league endorses you, or whenever a star of any kind, like Taylor Swift, that huge, endorses a sport like that, it grows to a height that you didn't think it could. Football grew more, and it's like, how the hell did that even happen? Football's already a juggernaut, mega sport.
It's the most watched sport and most bet on sport in the U.S. by a large margin.
And this year, Taylor Swift had a huge influence on that. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying you have to have some star dating a player or anything like that, but when you have those super fans, it helps. Hockey has some of those super fans. Will Ferrell with the Kings for a while. Vince Vaughn with the Hawks was a big one. I mean, there's tons. St. Louis, the Blues had what's his face? Oh God, what's his face? What the hell is his name?
Well, during the Blues and the Bruins Stanley Cup, they had John Krasinski and Jenna Fisher playing their characters from The Office.
Yes, that was cool. Is it? I think it's Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd is a Blues fan.
Paul Rudd is he's a Blues fan. He's an even bigger Chiefs fan.
Yes,
massive Chiefs fan. So naturally, he would be one as well. That for Kansas City, he would. That's kind of on that.
Kansas City has jumped so far into the mainstream. If you put hockey there, not to mention the extra boost of having an interstate rivalry with the Blues, that's amazing for the game. And above all else, growing the game is priority number one, especially the NHL. Kansas City would do that. All right, what's the final one? What am I ranking number two by default?
You're gonna kick yourself, because the final city I had on this list was Indianapolis.
Oh, Jesus.
Which again, and this is part of how it goes when you rank them blind, is you're gonna leave some big names on the table.
I instantly regret putting Quebec number 5.
You have 30 seconds to blindly explain and pretend to justify Indianapolis at 2 with the rest of that list.
It's not Gary.
You're wrong for that. You're right, but you're wrong for that.
I don't actually know how to justify this. I guess if you want to, like, I know Notre Dame, like, that's pretty much like India. It's, Notre Dame's big for hockey, at least somewhat. Like, right now, it's like anyone in Indiana is pretty much a Hawks fan.
I think it becomes an interesting play where you have them as a midway team between Columbus, Chicago, St. Louis, and Nashville.
Yeah. I agree. And you know what? Now it's, before we talk about this really quick, let's catch up with some comments. Joey, the Salt Lake City Stags. It's not bad.
Like that.
I also agree with Joey. Why is Milwaukee not on there? Because I think that'd be awesome.
The only thing I can think of is, one, the close nature to Chicago. They don't want to double dip on fan bases.
You're not wrong.
Also, the Milwaukee Admirals have such a strong AHL program.
You're right.
There is that aspect to it as well. Just by virtue of population, Chicago can handle having an AHL and NHL team in the same city and not be stepping on each other's toes.
Yeah.
Milwaukee, especially with the proximity to Chicago, I don't think both would function.
You're not wrong, because, I mean, as I said with like Indianapolis, it's a little split. Milwaukee, you go up to Milwaukee, it's pretty much all Blackhawks fans.
Yeah.
I mean, we're only an hour and a half, 2 hours away from there, but
right. And then there are those
Mark
who
also chimed in with Milwaukee.
I do think Milwaukee better choice than Indianapolis overall, but for the sake of getting something on the list that isn't necessarily being talked about as much, we hit some of the big ones.
Yeah, Cyclones fan, Kansas City could do well. The NWSL team sold out their first game in a women's soccer stadium. An NHL team would go nuts, and it would.
Yeah.
But Kansas City is another look. Like I said, I'm biggest rivals with that entire state for sports. Missouri sports fans are passionate. They show up, they show out. I want to go to Arrowhead because that atmosphere looks incredible.
Plus, like Kansas City barbecue before the game too. You find a tailgate to latch on to.
You get a city with really good food. Like that's the smartest place to have a sports team where the food is the best. We got I did Joey from Milwaukee. Yeah, Indianapolis is negative 34th. Like, Joel put some respect on Indiana. I like South Bend. South Bend's cool. Mark chiming in, Canada won't get another team until the Canadian dollar gets closer to the US dollar. That's probably fair.
Yeah, there might be some truth to that.
Michelle brings up a fun one here. Oh, Quebec is properly ranked, and you know it. Yes, I agree. Before we get that, Portland. So Michelle's got a couple interesting ones here. Portland, along with Charlotte and Jacksonville. Florida, in my opinion, does not need 3 hockey teams. They have 2. I think that's good enough.
Charlotte, 1, where are you going to put the arena? Number 2, again, you're running into the issue of the Hurricanes being roughly 2 hours away. It's more like 2.5.
Wait a minute.
On traffic, but
Mateo, Green Bay. We do, the last thing we need are cheesehead hockey fans.
Are they going to have certificates of ownership where the fans can own the team?
Oh God, please! I hope so. And then Portland. That's actually one that's been talked about a little bit. I think the big 3 that had at least a legitimate amount of smoke to them were Atlanta, number 1, obviously. And then I think it was kind of a tie between Portland and Salt Lake City. I mean, they're seeing how well it's doing in Seattle, so they love that kind of Pacific Northwest area. Like, I think it'd be kind of neat. I would, maybe it's a hot take. I don't think it is. Portland would get a team before Salt Lake City would.
I don't know. I think Salt Lake City, because again, Salt Lake City doesn't have a minor league affiliate, whereas Portland, like, you've got the Winterhawks. Plus, you also just put a team in Seattle, so you've kind of gone a little heavy on Pacific Northwest there. Yeah. Salt Lake City, I think, is a little bit more regional or more reasonable. Plus, I need to check population size, see if Salt Lake City is bigger than Portland. I don't know U.S. city populations off the top of my head. Michelle could probably have the DMCA on that real quick.
I kind of Mexico City. That would be fun.
I don't hate it.
I don't hate it.
I don't hate it.
The ice is going to.
Joel, got to keep things moving here. We got to get to the pick segment.
Yes.
So we're going to get through this real quick. We had a rough week last week. Mark, your Bruins let me down. I was counting on them to beat Montreal by 2, and they struggled against those Canadiens.
Yeah,
that was a bummer. But other than that, moving on. This week's picks, we'll keep them quick.
Okay.
Toronto Maple Leafs, Washington Capitals.
Maple Leafs. I hate it because they just fail me every time I pick them, but Maple Leafs.
I'll take the Caps at home.
Wow. Okay. All right. Okay.
I don't know. The Capitals have been playing well lately. They've been moving in the right direction. Putting a little win streak together here. 6-4-0 in their last 10, 3-game win streak. And all of a sudden, like, don't look now, they are 1 point back of the Flyers for a playoff spot.
And
that's something that you said a month ago. Hey, Washington is going to pass Philly for a playoff spot. People would have said you're crazy.
I know.
They're playing some inspired hockey right now. Ovi is starting to figure things out. I think I saw his 19th season with 20 or more goals.
Yep, he had two goals ridiculous. the other night and last night, and that puts him within is it 52 of breaking Gretzky's record? I think it's 52.
I think so.
He's at 20 now, right, on the season, but he's
at 840 overall. Then 52. Arizona Coyotes plus a goal and a half at the Dallas Stars, minus a goal and a half, even money on this one.
Ooh. Oh, yeah. Man, puck line has been screwing me. Oh, he's at 54 goals. Okay. Or he needs 54 more goals.
He needs 54 more.
He's at 843. That's what I'm looking at right now. Yeah. Man, Coyotes they're scrappy. They're frisky. What Big Cat would say on Barstool. They're frisky. And I'm going to have some fun with it and say, yeah, I think the Coyotes can cover.
You know what that means, right?
Coyotes for the bid is back.
Coyotes for the bid. 101 shows. Got to bring back Coyotes for the bid. If you weren't going to do it, I was going to do it.
We introduced a new bit. We got to bring back an old bit.
And final game of the night. There's only 3. Get your coffee out for this one. It's a 10 o'clock allegedly puck drop, which really means it's going to be a 10:30 Eastern puck drop. I won't be watching. I'll be getting ready for Nationals. Wild. What?
I might.
Wild and the Kings in the late game.
That's tough. You guys are on a roll. You guys are pushing every chip you can possibly push in to try and push for the playoffs.
Both teams are in action tonight. The Wild have the Ducks. I did not see starting goaltender for that one, but that will decide my pick.
If you have the Ducks, something tells me you're not starting Fleury.
It is Gustafson confirmed starting tonight. With Fleury going tomorrow. Boy, that's tempting.
Who's in net for the Kings tonight?
Unconfirmed Talbot likely is what this says against the Blackhawks with Mrazek confirmed.
That's tonight?
That's tonight. So Mrazek versus likely Talbot.
Good. Maybe we won't get shut out this time since Mrazek's playing instead of Soderblom. Anyway, you know what? I'm just rolling. I'm just going to keep a theme this week. I'm doing the away team for every single one. Give me the Wild. Screw it.
I'm so torn.
You're going to pick it.
How much confidence do I have in Big Save Dave? I don't have more confidence in David Riddick than I do in Marc-Andre Fleury. Give me the Wild. Yeah. So we agree on those two. We're different on the other games. You're taking Arizona. I'm taking Dallas. You're taking the Leafs. I'm taking the Capitals. Joel, we made it 101 shows.
101. And we hit 140 live viewers right now. You guys are the friggin' best.
This is incredible.
That's amazing. Can we keep this rolling? I know 140 every week is very, that might be a pipe dream, but maybe it's not. Only you can prevent forest fires. That's not the right one. Only you can make it happen.
Let's get those like numbers up too, because now that we got 140 viewers, still just the 2 likes.
At least, I mean, if 133 of you are on Twitter, at least like the stream post that it does on Twitter. Yeah, that'll circulate it. And yes, I'm calling it Twitter. I'm not calling it X. Re-exit. Yeah. Wait. No.
No, that's wrong. It's retweet.
Like and subscribe on YouTube, because at some point we'll have to, really rely on YouTube, I assume.
Mark, we love you too. We'll get you on here soon.
Yes, we do.
Definitely want to talk Bruins, because my God, I for 3 years now have not been able to figure that team out on this show. So having a Boston guy, and go check out Mark's podcast as well, the Black and Gold podcast. They're doing a live stream Thursday night. Mark, if you can get the time in here in the next minute, I can put that up on the show here as well.
And tag our Twitter in one of your your advertising posts so I can retweet it on our end too.
Cyclones fan, I'm going to do you a solid. We're not going to have a show next week because I will still be at USPHL Nationals.
That's true.
So I won't have a show. We won't have a show next week because I will be just gassed at that point. That is championship day too, so it's not like I'm just taking off for or something like that. Like no,
I can hop on live for like 10 minutes and you can look at my pretty face and argue with me. I love arguing with people.
Yeah, Joel, if you want to go live, by all means.
I don't know if we'd count that as an episode though, but
we're doing a mini episode. Do a crash course. Okay, so here we go.
Black and Gold Hockey Podcast.
Live stream 5:30 p.m. Eastern. And if you're wanting to watch USPHL Nationals, Flow Hockey is where to go for that one. So sign up for a Flow Hockey account. I'll be working with Matt Prier, who is the voice of the Metro Jets. I'll be working with him most of the time. I'll be working with Dan K and Lucas J of the Dan K Show. Those guys rock. A Cyclones fan can fill in for me next week if you guys get connected and want to do a show.
Thank you,
Joel. You're going to get a crash course in ECHL hockey.
Oh boy,
get ready for that one.
Oh boy, it's just Mateo. We'll end it on this note. You're welcome. Joel believes in rookie Brock Faber to lead the Wild. I believed in him in the preseason, and some of your fan base said I was nuts. I don't remember who, because Mateo, you, and HP all agreed with me, so I don't really remember who. But anyway.
Yeah, we thought Faber would be good. We didn't think he was going to be Calder conversation good. We thought Rossi was going to be good.
I did.
I want to go back and pull the receipts on that one.
I sang his praises. ECHL Lyric on Twitter. Oh, hell yeah. All right, cool. I will do that right now.
There you go. That's it for tonight's show. Thanks so much to everybody who tuned in. He's Joel. I'm Dan. Enjoy the rest of your night, everybody.
Later, guys.
Love y'all.